Good afternoon. In this video, we're going to go over this week's options watch list. Before I get to the watch list, if you're not in the room, you can find the link in the description of the video and in my bio section of social media account. Also, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. With that said, let's look at the put to call ratio. I was looking at this earlier, and it's really nothing to speak of. It's at 0.71. There's a little bit more of a put presence, but I mean it's not at extreme range. Extreme range lately has been over 1.1 to 1.2, and it's at 0.71. So it's kind of like intermediate, like in the middle. Nothing really to speak of. So, but we could get some volatility this week. Well, every time we think we're going to get volatility, we don't. But with that said, the economic calendar, we get some things going on. Obviously, tomorrow we get the solar eclipse. So we'll have no idea what any effects that will have, or if it will have any effects on anything, power grids, electronic glitches, who knows? I mean, I don't imagine anything would happen. I think it's just fear-mongering for the government and companies to make money. But who knows? What do I know? But nothing on the economic calendar on Monday except for the solar eclipse. Tuesday, don't see anything. Wednesday, we get a busy day on Wednesday. Wednesday, we get at 8:30, we got CPI, month to month, year to year, and core. That could be pretty big. Then we have, let's see, 10-year auction at 1 o'clock. Then we have the FOMC meeting minutes, which means there's no Powell. So maybe this will be a good one. These end up being the best ones. These end up being my favorite FOMCs to trade because the implied volatility is not there, and you get right at the money, and you get a small dollar or two move on SPY, and those SPX could end up going 100-200% in a flash just on small moves. So I definitely prefer the non-Powell days. Thursday, we have 8:30. We have PPI, core PPI, unemployment claims at 8:30. Then we have 30-year bond auction at 1 o'clock. That ends up being a pretty good mover. 10 years, not as much, but it can move sometimes, but the 30-year definitely will. Then on Friday, 10 o'clock, we have preliminary consumer sentiment, inflation expectations. So that could be a mover on that. So we got some important data coming out, FOMC, and a lot of strange things happening this week. So we'll have to see. Then we have a lot of things happening in the world as far as Israel and Iran, and they mean retaliations and stuff like that. So something could happen overnight. Something could happen just in the middle of the day. Randomly, we could have a black swan event. We don't even know. I mean, so much going on in the world that just something could end up happening. So just be ready. Don't be in too heavy and going crazy and going heavy in puts, thinking that something's going to happen, or going calls and ignoring it or whatever. Just don't go too crazy, because literally we are one headline away from a catastrophe happening. So just keep an eye on that. And then we have, like I said, we're one headline away from something major happening. Then we have Ukraine trying to get into NATO. That could piss off Russia. That could start World War III. I mean, there is so many things that could happen. Then there's we have the CIA and the Homeland Security saying we're at a threat of having a terrorist attack on the U.S. soil. I mean, there is so much uncertainty going on that one headline and SPY could be down $10-20 in seconds. So what we saw on, what was it, Thursday? Yeah, Thursday, which was this day right here, and when the Fed said we were going to get 0 rate cuts when Iran and Israel have a conflict, or we get a terrorist attack, we're going to be down to 500 before you even know it. I just keep reiterating, beating a dead horse, the expression. We are one headline away from having a major event happening. So don't be going crazy and doing stupid things. Anything can happen. So With that said, like I said, one headline. I mean, we get underneath Friday's low underneath, let's see, 513. We're going to see 510, 500, 490. You get some tons of gaps to fill all the way down here to 445. Then we get gaps down here at 430, 425. That would need a massive, very, very massive event to happen. But we also, nothing could happen. We could grind up to 520. We get over 525, or for all-time high is 524.61. We get an all-time high again, we're going to end up breaking out. We could squeeze to 530 very, very easily, because when we triple topped right here, 1, 2, 3, we get over 524. We're going to hit all-time high, and then when we squeeze, we're going to squeeze a few dollars. So definitely keep an eye on that. Keep your all your options open. But I mean, look at the weekly. This is just ridiculous. This is definitely not natural. Something's going to end up happening. Hopefully this week. I don't want nothing bad to happen, but I mean, the market needs to come down. This is just ridiculous, the amount of strength and going straight up like this. But definitely, like I said, keep an open mind. Could break out, could get stomped, or we could just channel until something happens. And I think this has been happening the last couple weeks or few weeks, is that we will get massive moves pre-market. Like when we get news will drop at 8:30, we'll get massive move pre-market. And when the market opens, we get nothing. It ranges $1 or $2, and it's just all the action is pre-market. I hate that. I don't know why it's doing that. It's so controlled. It's so annoying. And I have not been having fun. When I see a major move pre-market, I've already kind of like, okay, we're going to range. Nothing's going to happen, because that's just how it's been. And I hate it. I'd rather have market just go chop. I mean, I'd rather have the market go chop all pre-market, and then we have a massive move. But anytime I see a major move pre-market, I've pretty much lost hope for the day. It's like, yeah, we're going to range. We're not going to do anything. We're not going to get any follow through. And it's just sad that it's like that. But it is what it is. You got to trade the market you have, not the one you want. So until it does something different, I'm just going to keep that mindset. So you always got to adapt to the conditions of the market. And the market right now just is it's one strong day, then you chop, or you get strong pre-market moves, then you range. And you just got to keep a mental note of what happens, because it's just happening way too often until it doesn't happen. So I know I'm rambling, but I'm trying to make a couple points here. That also VIX, we hit 17 or almost 17 to start to pull back. When we have a strong green day, and then it has a red day afterwards, we usually don't see too much follow through. We're usually seeing green day and green day, but right here we did have like a strong green day, red pullback, then it popped again. But the weekly still looks pretty good. I mean, it didn't close green. That's a good sign. Whenever you have a weekly that closes like this, like a hammer, we end up pushing down more. So we'll have to see what happens. I mean, maybe volatility will pick up when we spike to 20, 25. Who knows? But VIX, it's got room to drop if they decide to just chop the market. And if they chop the market, they put it in a tight range, they can smash VIX back down to 15, then 15, back down to 14 and 13 very, very easily, just going sideways. So keep an eye on that. The VIX said if it does chop, the market does chop, VIX is going to get smashed. Tesla's at a pretty good area as far as bouncing. It does like to bounce at this 160 area. It's bounced here, well, in here it bounced a little bit, but right now, I mean, it looks like it could go lower to 150 maybe. But I'm thinking that maybe we'll actually bounce here at the 160-ish area, which we already done once. Maybe it will get a little more momentum going. We get over 180. I won't say 180, that's pretty far, but we get over 167 or 165. Well, 167 is a better number. Or 168. I'll look for push to 170, 175, 180 on Tesla, and it gets over at 180. We can end up seeing a push to 190. Get a gap to fill right here, and possibly 200 on that. Apple Apple's getting pretty beaten down too, and it does like to bounce in the same scenario as Tesla. It does like to bounce in this 160, 170-ish area. So if it does lose this, it's going to drop this 160. Maybe it can come back down here and retest this trend line down here to 155. So yeah, it's do or die for Tesla and Apple. I have a little more hope that Tesla might be all right. Apple, I hate Apple. They just have no innovation whatsoever. They just keep rehashing things and changing a couple things and calling it a new phone, and it's stupid. But anyways, it could bounce here, or we could just the floodgates could open up. We could say 155 and retest this trend line back down here on Apple. So watch Apple either way. We'll say over 170 or underneath 165 or 167. So definitely keep an eye on that. Amazon, it looks pretty strong. Now I would watch Amazon's all-time high is 188, and if we get back up to this 188 out level, which is rejected here and here, I mean, it might reject or push to 190 and overshoot it just a little bit before rejecting. But definitely keep an eye on it. If it does get to that all-time high, I mean, it could shoot to 200. It is very, very overbought on the weekly, but it could go. I mean, Amazon just makes a truckload of money. I mean, it's just can't count out Amazon. I mean, imagine if you got it down here at $80. That's crazy. But yeah, all-time high. Watch out for that. And if it does break it, $190, $200 on Amazon. BA is another one to keep an eye on. BA just not having very good news. It just had news today of another plane falling apart when at takeoff. One of the wings was flapping apart. So not good news for BA. For Boeing, I would watch it underneath 178 for push down to 170, 160, 150, 140. BA just in a buttload of trouble again. So I definitely keep an eye on that. How did I put that? I meant to put Diz for Disney. Disney is finally rejecting. It rejected this 125 area. Didn't quite get to 125, 124ish. So I'd watch it underneath one Friday's low, 116 gets underneath 116 for push to 115 to 110. Gap resistance or gap support, I should say, at 107. Could end up going down there and possibly maybe even filling a gap. If the market has a hard flush, it's going to end up filling the gap on Disney. So definitely keep an eye on that. Microsoft. Microsoft is just going crazy, but it's not going completely parabolic. Has a strong move, it consolidates, has a strong move, consolidates, and pops a little bit and consolidates. So to me, I mean, if it gets over 430, we could see a strong move out of Microsoft. We could see a push to 430 to 435, 440. But if the market ends up taking takes a dump, I would watch it underneath the 417 or 418 area for push to 410, 400 on Microsoft. But it's at all-time high, and it's I mean, it's definitely overbought. We got a bearish divergence going on the right here. You can see it's making a lower high on RSI's price is making a higher high. There's a bearish divergence going on definitely on the weekly and the daily. So I mean, but just because it's putting on a bearish divergence doesn't mean it go buy puts. It has to drop. If you remember Roku and Baidu, they had a bearish divergence for months before it played out. So this thing could end up just the market's stronger, even go sideways. Microsoft could take off. Microsoft could be at 450, 460 before you know it. So just keep an eye on Microsoft. It's just a little different. Like I said, it pops, consolidates, pops, consolidates, popped a little bit, consolidates. So, I mean, that's healthy in my eyes. I don't like seeing a straight up move like this is a little more straight up. Even this is not completely straight up, but right here it is, right? But it's had a nice little healthy move. This is healthy to look at versus SPY. That is not so healthy. That just gone straight up. I mean, it's not a healthy move whatsoever. So Microsoft, definitely keep an eye on that. Netflix has got earnings coming up soon. They usually have a strong earning run, but it's already near all-time high. Well, not all-time high is 700. It's way up here at 638 was the high. and I would think that it's going to give some of this back. So I would, if it doesn't, if we end up seeing Nvidia getting over 638, push to 650, and even possibly 700 before earnings, I would be skeptical and think that earnings is going to be a miss, because that's pretty big, strong run for Netflix, considering it was down here in the 160s last year. Kind of crazy, a year and a half ago. So to me, I'd be looking at the short side of this on Netflix underneath, would say 630 to push to 625, 620, 615, 610, basically every $5, 605, 600. So definitely keep an eye on that. But like I said, this week we get a lot of unknowns happening that could happen. It's going to be an eventful week, so you need to be in the room. We'll take it day by day and see what happens. So that's going to do it for the watch list, and thanks for watching.